Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Flying solo as of the moment, here to talk Packers and recap the Packers-Vikings game. Tough loss. Obviously, the Vikings come away with the 27-25 victory there in Minneapolis. We'll talk about all the key statistics. We're going to hit on the chat heavy this morning. I want to see what the fan base thinks about this game and kind of moving forward for the Packers as well. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to walk through social media. We'll give you an updated playoff picture as well. And a couple other things, too, we're going to hit on maybe the PFF recap. We've got a few grades, just like 3 grades, so we don't have very many. They'll be finished for tonight's show at 7 p.m. Central. We already started breaking down the tape as well, getting ready for Chalk Talk. This one may have 25 plays. I'm at 15 plays, and we're halfway through the third quarter. But, man, every one of them are important. There's some positive in there. There's obviously some negative as well. We're going to show you what happened, why did it happen, and kind of give you a little bit better understanding, at least from the tape perspective of, hey, what happened in this game. I know we got Tim joining us from Green Bay now. Let's do this before we get started. Off strong. Let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description that'll send you to their website, theticketking.com. You can register there as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping around for your Packers tickets. Again, we got one more home game, man. Go to Ticket King, get you a ticket to that Packers-Bears game. That should be a fun one there next week. Going to be cold at Lambeau Field. Might be a little snow flying. Good way to wrap up the final game at Lambeau for the 2024-2025 season. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Tim, how you doing this morning, bub? You get the diesel flowing?
Yeah, man. I'm waking up.
I
was up a little late last night, trying to figure out what the hell happened to us in that ball game. And I think you're right, man. Chalk Talk's going to be interesting. Can we just do a whole Chalk Talk of Edgerrin Cooper highlights?
Exactly. And that's why this Chalk Talk's going to be so long, because there probably will be 4 Edgerrin Cooper plays in a game that we lost, right? But again, we don't want it to just be all negative. We want to show, hey, look, here's the people that shined, and we're also going to show the people that struggled. And the big thing that stood out to me, usually when I make my first pass through the notes, go back and start watching the tape, the big thing that sticks out to me, there's usually 1 or 2 things like, boy, that's tough. Obviously, the penalty there, right, where we get called, for the offsides on the field goal. Matt LaFleur's decision to go for it on 4th and short. But another big one, if I can be real, Javon Bullard on that opening drive. And again, this isn't about saying the game was lost by one person. I just gave you 3 different scenarios that played a huge role in the outcome of the game. So in no way is this guy's the reason we lost. But we've talked all year, he struggled in coverage. That's been his thing. He's awesome in run defense. The dude is very aggressive downhill. He plays like a linebacker. He really does. And that surprises me based off of what we've seen in college, because he did look a little more balanced. And it's his rookie year. There's going to be ups and downs. But that opening drive of the third quarter, Bullard, to the best of my knowledge, and again, I've got to look at the all-22 really, really deep to get a confirmation. We will have that on Chalk Talk. On the opening drive of the third quarter, he gave up 3 plays for 55 yards plus a touchdown. And listen, it's easy to go, man, that's on Bullard. Well, yeah, but also we got aggressive with the blitzes and put him in a one-on-one situation. If you were to say, hey, how do you feel about Bullard one-on-one with Jordan Addison? I'm going to go, whoa. You know what I mean? So it's the coaches saying, hey, let's take a shot here. Let's give our guy a shot in a one-on-one matchup. And it just didn't work out. So we'll dive in all that again on Chalk Talk. I just wanted to kind of lay out, that's what I've uncovered so far. And we'll walk through social media here in a second. I want to hit the chat. So anything you mark in the chat there, Tim, that you see interesting, we'll start with Biz here. Biz 1987 says, I picked Kraft in the poll question because he did the most with his opportunities. I think that's a really, really good reason to take him. As you guys make sure you go vote. We're voting on the PTA players, offensive players of the week. And this was tough for me, man. I was going, man, I don't even know who to put on this list, to be honest with you. Nobody really played well, right? But the options are Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs, Romeo Dobbs, and Jordan Love. And right now, Romeo Dobbs is leading the way at 50%. I like it. Tucker Kraft would probably have been my choice, although I can see Romeo Dobbs because it seemed like when Jordan needed to play, Romeo was the one who stepped up, right, and made that play. So, again, those are your options for PTA Offensive Player of the Week. Make sure you get your vote.
I just caught the ball.
Who would you vote for there, Tim, between Tucker
I'm voting for Rome, man. Come on now.
Romeo could have been blank for no catches, and Tim would have been like, yeah, let's give it to Rome. All right. Biz 1987 also said, so many thoughts. Early fumble set the tone. Completely agree. Middle eight was a disaster. Completely agree. Defense getting more hurt and silly penalties in week 17 hurt us. The Zane Anderson injury, man, if you had told me in week 7 you're going to lose to the Vikings because Zane Anderson got hurt, I'd be like, what are you smoking? You know, but it's true. It kind of felt like if he had been in the game, it probably would have played out a lot.
I think we lost because we didn't take the points. I don't think we lost because we lost the safety. I think we should have took the points.
And again, you can't control what the officials do, right? We can be pissed off about it, and believe me, Packers Twitter is hot over that botched offsides call. But like Tim said, you can control that aspect. You can control taking those points. And then on top of that, you needed 2 yards and you pass. That's just kind of salt in the wound. It's like if you decide to go for it, right? I still disagree with the call, but if you decide to go for it and go, all right, boys, we get 2 yards here, you got a really good shot of winning the game, right? You're going to continue this drive, and who knows, maybe you get 7 or maybe you get a much, much easier field goal. Yeah. It would be a lot easier for me to stomach if it was a run and, hey, you got stuffed. Damn, they were just better than us. But when 2 yards to go, we pass the ball, it's like I disagree with the call to go for it, and then you disagree with the call to pass it. And who knows, it could have been a run and a pass called, and we canned. I don't know. I haven't got to that point yet, but yeah, it's I completely agree with what Biz is saying here, though, man. All good points for sure. Nick McSwain in the chat said, good morning, PTA. I know it was a tough loss, but the team is going to be okay. Packers have only lost 1 game by more than 5 points. Not like they're getting blown out. A couple things go our way. It's a different game. Completely agree, Nick. And in some cases, those things going our way were our own mistakes, right? In other cases, it's like, man, we just caught a tough break there. And I know there's going to be fans go, oh, that's a loser mentality. Shut up. You're not on the team. Quit acting like you're in the locker room and we're fans here, right? We're breaking down what's going on around the game. That stuff drives me crazy when people get on their soapbox. Like, you just know they were the one that was in the locker room in high school that played, 12 snaps in the game, but boy, they were the one wanting to give the rah-rah speech. You know what I'm talking about, Tim? Those dudes, they're out there by the dozen. But
the Uncle Ricos of the world, yes.
Exactly. Jared Reyes says, why is it so hard to get the ball to Tucker Kraft more? He doesn't drop the ball, and he gets open. Defenses pack the box to stop our run. And not only that, Jared, but like yesterday where you could see a lot of the concepts were trying to stretch the field. And after I slept on it, Tim, we were kind of knocking that. I was knocking. I shouldn't say we. I was knocking that. I was going, man, I'd look at those concepts and like, boy, Jordan really couldn't do anything there. Everything was covered up and they were all deep, right? But remember going into the game, we were talking about how that defense, if there was a weakness, it is that they would give up a big play, right? So maybe that's more what they played into in terms of the game planning. You got it wrong, But what do you think there about Tucker Kraft? I agree with that, but I don't want to just throw a blanket statement out there like, we just got to get Tucker Kraft the ball more. Sometimes there's a reason he's not getting the ball more because it's within the scheme, right?
Right. I agree too. I even made that comment on the postgame last night. I thought we got to target him more. We've got to make an effort to get Tucker the ball. But every game's different. We as fans, we watch this from a whole season. We look, like it's a big long movie. And it's not. It doesn't work that way. It's week to week. It's matchup to matchup. But I do think that if you start doing that, then teams are going to scheme. They're going to scheme up for that, right? Like look at teams that play Kansas City. They know that they're going to, throw the ball to Travis Kelce a lot. So they try to scheme against that. So I think I'm sure Matt LaFleur wants to get Tucker Kraft the ball, but it's a game-to-game, week-to-week kind of league, and I think the targets come in chunks, and sometimes there's very little targets. But either way, he still has an impact for this team, and for our success out there on offense, whether that's blocking or catching the ball. So I do think him being involved though makes us a better offense for sure.
Yeah, it definitely does, man, no doubt. So thank you for the comment there, Jared Reyes. Let's see what else we got here. Blake B says, hey, if anyone wants tickets for face value for Sunday, I have 4 of them close to the field next to the visitor tunnel. Good stuff, Blake. Do me a favor, Blake. Shoot me a text, 865-658-5824, or an email. It'd be better in a text because that'll come directly to my phone, and I'll see if I can help you get rid of those for sure. And we were thinking about going up, so there's a possible chance we could take them off your hands. But, at face value, too, I almost want to say, let me buy those and do a giveaway. I don't want to promise that, and we'll see if we can we'll see if we can help you get rid of them. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to make any empty promises here. We got a lot of stuff going on here at the house, in the process of selling the house, and the process of potentially going out of town for New Year's. So it's a little hectic here. But just like I said, shoot me a text, 865-658-5824. And that way I can get information, exact location of the tickets, all that stuff, and I'll blast it out to my friends that want to go to Packer games. So appreciate you, Blake. Thank you for thinking of us, buddy. Let's see, Nick McSwain in the chat. A big thing I noticed was Vikings wide receiver made catches in clutch situations. Packers wide receivers were dropping them. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, Nick. I don't think it was every single situation. I'm not saying you're saying that. I don't want to give the wrong impression here to the listeners. But yeah, and you got to listen. We've talked about this all year. Tim, we've ran victory laps. I know I have. On, man, this wide receiver room, look how cheap it is, right? They're in a single first-round pick. When you look at Jordan Addison and you look at Justin Jefferson, those two guys were legit, top of their class. And I know a lot of people, believe me, they disagree with me saying Jordan Addison was the best receiver coming out in that class in terms of my draft board. We can agree to disagree on that. Obviously, we did. But Jordan Addison on another team probably is a true number 1 receiver. He probably does warrant a little bracket coverage. But Justin Jefferson being on that team, obviously he's going to get the majority of the attention. And also, you've got TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson, guys, if I remember correctly, was the top tight end the year he came out in the draft. So you've got the top two receivers that came out different years that were arguably the best receivers in their class, right? And you got a tight end that was the best tight end in his class. And the Vikings did not draft him, right, Tim? Didn't they trade?
Yeah, they traded for him. And I wish the Chargers would have traded for him. I don't know. He went from Detroit to Minnesota. It's like, oh, gosh.
At the time, I wish we had traded for him. When I seen what they gave up, I'm like, bro, why did we know how important tight end is in Matt LaFleur's offense? Why didn't we pull the trigger on that? But I'm glad we got Tucker Kraft instead, just being honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I personally like Tucker better than him. I'm not saying he's a better tight end right now, but Tucker's my spirit animal. There's no doubt about it, man. So
for sure.
Appreciate the comment there, Nick. I think you make great points, but again, man, you kind of get what you pay for, right?
Yep.
And in this case, we're not getting what we paid for. What we're paying for, we should have a bottom 5 receiving core. You know what I mean? And we've really got, I think, a top 10 receiving core, maybe top 5.
It's true. And comparison is the thief of joy, right? So sometimes when you start looking, the grass is greener on the other side, you start thinking thoughts that you shouldn't be thinking because you're absolutely right, Clayton. These guys have exceeded expectation for a very young, unheralded kind of group of receivers that are coming together. And it's going to take time. We talked about that last night, right?
Yep.
Before you know it, man, we've got more than one star in that receiver room. I truly believe that. Obviously, we were really missing our guy last night in Christian Watson, who would have really helped stretch that defense a little bit. But I think there's some truth to that statement that if we had a true number 1, maybe the closest that we have was not playing last night, so it showed. I think they'll bounce back.
That's the other thing too. Like, I know the pessimistic side of the fan base hate hearing this, but I'm always going to come back to center. Like, hey, what's a realistic approach to the result, win or loss? right? Win or loss.
Yep.
We were down 3 starters on defense and arguably our best wide receiver, definitely our best home run hitter, right? Our freak on offense that kind of forces the defense to really go, all right, where's he at? Not necessarily bracket cover all the time, but we got to know where he's at, right? In Christian Watson. So when you're down that many players and you're playing a team that many believe could be the best team in the league, like they may finish with the number 1 seed in the NFC if they beat the Lions next week. And I think they've got a legit shot to beat the Lions. I really do. So you're talking about at least a top 3 team, possibly the best team in the league. You're down 3 starters on defense. You're down your freak on offense at wide receiver in Christian Watson, and you lose by 2 points. And I was listening this morning to someone on – I got to stop doing this before I go live because it turns into a rant cast every damn time. And I tell the guys –
Stay off the damn pods.
Exactly. Before we go live sometimes, if there's something that's dramatic that's happening, I goes, guy, listen, we're not pressing into the negative. We're not going to acknowledge the trolls. We're not going to do that stuff. And it's 10 minutes into the show. I screw it up every time.
I'm just as guilty.
So – but listening to people, talk about the game, and it was, well, Minnesota, they really took their foot off the gas and they started kind of playing. What game are you watching?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like, the reason we got back in this game was because Minnesota threw on 2nd and 11 and Carrington Valentine
got picked off. Yeah. What are you
going to try to convince me that they just kind of laid down? You're full of crap. That's the laziest damn argument. That's the laziest stance on a game. It's like – not everybody, a good chunk of sports media, they've got these, okay, if it's a loss, we're going to go to this saying. If it's a win, we're going to go to that saying. And they press into it with so much confidence. There's one dude that's on a show. You would think he knows every single thing about the game of football, the way he talks. And I'm going, you can just see right there. It's like, well, I would love to sit down from just a good football debate right across the table from this knucklehead. I would love it. I'd love the opportunity. And I'm just a dumb redneck from Tennessee that loves football. I don't know this much about football, but it's just, oh my God, it drives me crazy. Anyway, end of rant there. So Biz, like he said, he picked Kraft in the poll because he felt like he did the most with his opportunities. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Tracy Westbrook says Packers are pure trash. Their head coach, you got to learn how to spell his name here, bub. A.K.A. LaFlunk. Play calling in this game was horrible. All right, man. Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate you swinging through.
Stay off the damn weed.
Talking about the 9th winningest coach all time, who was supposed to just fall flat on his face once Aaron left. And, we'll just keep it moving. Perfect example.
You're trash. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's just I got to add this.
Clearly, you haven't watched any Bears games this year.
I got to add this. I mean, the guy, what are we up to? 11 wins? We've won 11 wins. And this is the part.
Yeah, we're going to be a 12-win team after it's all said and done. So
I wish I hadn't unmarked that, right? I wish I hadn't unmarked that because you guys remember going into the season, what we try to do in training camp starts to go, all right, let's look at the schedule. Let's look at how the roster is constructed. Let's look at all the variables and go, all right, how many games do we think we're going to win? I said, we're going to be somewhere between 10 and 13 wins. And there was a couple times that it got all the way down to the 10 mark. I'm like, I don't know, boys, it's looking like it might be 10 wins, right? And that might not get us in. And then there was a couple times like, hey, boys, we're looking at 13. Tim, your 14 was on the table there a couple times.
Wow, yeah, sure was.
Yeah, man, we might hit 14. Somewhere between 10 and 13. We're sitting at 11. We'll probably finish with 12, but there's a chance they could drop one to the Bears next week. There's no doubt about that. So you're right there in that ballpark.
Yep.
How can you look at it and go, man, we fell right there in that window of wins, right? And then say that LaFleur is trash. Like those two things can't be true at the same time. They just can't. And again, it's Tracy needs a hug, Coach Flynn says. I like Nick McSwain said, I'll have what you're smoking, Tracy. It's just wild because we got to get a soundbite. We got to get a soundbite of a baby crying. And when these fans come in here and they do that, and it's literally the world is ending because the youngest team in the league, who was down 4 starters, lost by 2 points to arguably the best team in the league. they're going to come in and say the head coach is trash. That just blows my mind.
I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop in my hand. So,
and again, this is coming from the guy who said, I completely 110% disagree with Matt LaFleur going for it there on fourth down. You know, so I'm not saying he's perfect. Nobody's saying he's perfect. He made mistakes.
But to say the word trash and all of that is just that's
if you said Matt LaFleur had a bad game,
go watch game tape on the New York Giants this year. If you want to see trash.
Half a dozen teams, man. You really could. But seriously, like if you no, Jacob, you go, man. Get me off the hook.
What's up, Beard? Good morning, buddies. Beard.
Hope you guys are doing well. I had a weird day yesterday, man. Unfortunately, one of my best friend's fathers had a heart attack, and so it threw off the whole trajectory of what the day was supposed to look like. We were going to be smoking ribs and all that. That being said, I had to watch it in kind of a distracting
fashion. How's he doing, Jake?
It sounds like they caught it real early and that they threw a stent in there and that he should be good to go. He was they had him on some loopy pain meds. He was hitting on the nurses and talking about how they better pull a TV in and let him watch the game and all that. And they said, you probably shouldn't watch the game. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't.
That definitely wouldn't have been the game to watch.
That immediately makes me think of Major League when they had the coach had a heart attack. Remember?
Yeah.
He had the radio in, was listening to the game. They had it on an English channel with tea and stuff. And he said,
yeah,
this stuff, and I may move to England. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, and he's recovering. So, anyways, but I'm just gonna say, man, I'm so done with these Packer fans, and I don't want to. You guys know I usually tiptoe around this. I'm just quit it, stop it. You guys are making us look like absolute chumps. It's embarrassing, and you know what? It's embarrassing to yourself. Like you just said, we had some rough. I think I put a post out. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I told you settle down we just lost. Yeah. One of the best teams in the league right now. We played a real rough start of the game in a really rough atmosphere. We came back when it mattered and we really, really came and showed up. And again, there's a ton of stuff that we can say. I don't want to blame the refs, but there's some stuff we can talk about. All right. And I just think that we need to pump the brakes. In 2010, we lost pretty much to everybody that they said we should lose to, and then made a run. All right. Just to make yourself look so freaking, I just take a step back and remember what it used to be like. I mean, Packer fans are supposed to be the best, most loyal, most faithful fans in the league. That's our whole shtick. And this year I have not seen it. And we're missing Ja, we're missing Christian. And I think other people that now have talked a lot of smack on Christian Watson take a step back and realize we do need him. He has become one of those like difference makers in our offense. When we don't have on the field, we're not the same kind of team. He's so good at blocking. He's so good at taking the top off the defense. Just chill, man. And yeah, are there plays I wish we could have back? 100%. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a fair weather fan, then go find a different fan base, dude. This isn't the team for you then.
And do yourself a favor too. Mute those people, block those people, man. Protect your freaking brain because it is brain damage. You want to talk about CTE, like. When you get to the point where it's just you can't argue with them. You can't try to speak logic on things. They're emotional. They're going to feel the way they. And what really throws me off is when
it's crap talking every day. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's literally all right. How can I get on social media and just get a ruse out of people? And once you realize that, it don't even matter. When you hit that mute button and you no longer see their tweets or their responses, right?
Yeah,
and they're just talking to a wall. Oh my God! Now,
I almost need to see it to keep myself reminded. And I hate saying this again. I'm going to start categorizing them. They're casual fans. They're ESPN fans. That's what they are. That's what I'm going to call them. And I know that's ESPN probably doesn't want that as a diss. That's a diss, dude. If you get your information from ESPN and you trust it, cool. Good for you. You're an idiot.
Heard it from a fan right here.
The filter that I've created to keep those people out of my football life is if the only time I hear from you it's negative,
then
I don't need to hear from you.
Exactly.
It's okay. Hey, we're celebrating here. Oh, man, that was crap. Yeah, I'm with you. It's crap. We can have that conversation. It's cool. But when the only time I hear from you is negative, something goes right for the Packers, silence. Something goes wrong, negative. Can't do it. Can't handle it. Can't take it, man. Sorry. Life's too short. So,
or make sure that when we get to the promised land and we win it this year, don't you be up there celebrating like you're the first place trophy. I don't want to see you there, dude. I don't want to see you.
Exactly right. And that's how it always works, too. And that's what I ask people. Hey, this team doesn't have a chance to win the Super Bowl. You guys know I've been very vocal. I don't think this is the year. I personally don't believe this is the year. I hope like hell I'm wrong.
But to say they don't have a chance is taking it a whole step further, right?
I would just love to go back though and watch those same fans in 2010. I bet it was hilarious.
Yeah,
I bet they were, oh my gosh, beside themselves. But Coach Lynn says, I just hope we can get fully healthy by playoff time. Yeah, and again, Coach, what we talked about, rest over rust over rest, right? Like even if we do get healthy, there's probably going to be some rust involved, right? Because these guys are sitting for a couple of weeks. But I'm with you, Coach. Just to get as many starters out there as physically possible would be, in my opinion, the most important thing. And then you go, okay, here's a true, because you don't really get a true measurement on how good this team is, how far along this team is, if everybody's not out there. You're still going, well, if we had them, maybe we would have won that. And you're taking that into consideration with your roster eval going into the offseason, and you might be building a team that's not necessarily ready to play because you didn't get your guys in those big-time moments. Like Bullard yesterday. We all need to consider, me especially, Bullard was probably rusty, right? He'd been sitting for a little bit. But also in the back of my mind, I'm going, Bullard, big-time game, big-time opportunity. He did not check the box. He didn't, in my opinion. Doesn't make him a bad person. Doesn't mean we should cut him. Doesn't mean we should trash him on social media. It just simply means I know that now, right? And he's going to get other opportunities in big moments. But in the meantime, that's a question we have. In my opinion, as we're getting ready to go into the offseason, where I sit right now, if the offseason started right now, I'd be going, we got to think very, very seriously about getting a slot corner. We got to think very seriously. We were thinking seriously about it last year, right? And when we drafted Bullard, everybody on the screen was absolutely jacked up. We were like, hey, that dude can play slot, right?
That was my guy. I'm 100% in charge of the Bullard fandom.
You were the one who uncovered him to us. And boy, let me tell you, the college tape was something. It was something else. So, and that's all you can go off of, right? And then you got to see if they're going to make that transition to the next level. And is this defense as good a fit as what he had in college? And, all those things come into play. So it's going to be a fun offseason too, man. I'm holding out.
Clayton, building a team, not collecting talent, right?
Bingo. That's it, man. That's exactly right. And this is one thing I will say, and we're going to get back to the chat in just a second. Since you said that, building a team and not collecting talent, I want to hit this real quick. I hope we don't get hit with a copyright. I don't think we will. But this here, watching the teams and we see this every time that we play the Vikings. And listen, I'm not saying people will hear this. Some people will hear this and go, I'd rather have Josh Jacobs over Aaron Jones. I would too. Believe me. Josh Jacobs, in my opinion, is a better back today than Aaron Jones is. But the thought that we could have had him for another $1 to $3 million on this roster, all I could think about yesterday too was the Vikings would not have access to him if we had just paid him. Yeah. So, to be honest with you, I think Aaron Jones makes enough of a difference. We probably win those two games that we just lost. Didn't we lose them both by 2 points? Am I thinking right? Probably win that game if Aaron Jones is not on the Vikings. Much even more so if he's on the Packers as that rotational back, right? And again, of course, we're playing, what we call it a Monday morning quarterback in here, right after the fight. But this was cool though to see this exchange. I'm going to crank it up. Hopefully, there's no language. You see, I think is that Carrington Valentine right there?
Yeah, that's Valentine and
look at Romeo,
Jay Money.
But look, what's great?
It's the first time I've seen Romeo ever show emotion in his life. Like he smiled. Look at Romeo Dobbs just smiled. Did you guys see that? Capture it. Put it on a freaking milk carton because you're not going to see it again.
Yeah. And there was several times yesterday I seen Aaron Jones helping Packer defenders up.
Yeah.
And I'm going, stop it.
I know.
Because you want guys to be mean. You want them to be aggressive, right? But man, he's just one of the best human beings on the face of
it. And it just blasts apart all of that narrative about, these toxic fans that, have so much hatred, right? Oh, you went to the Vikings. These guys love each other. When you go to war with a guy for, any period of time, man, that's your brother. And that doesn't change regardless of if you're traded or you get released or you're, assigned somewhere else, whatever. The players don't act that way. I don't know why the fan base chooses to sometimes because you see the love right there out on the field.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there was another exchange too. I won't go combing through finding it. I don't know if you've seen it, but Matt LaFleur and KOC were walking
Yeah,
towards
before
each
the
other.
game.
So KOC's walking up the mat and he's walking towards him. And evidently, like Aaron Jones is kind of walking parallel to KOC. And it's one of those deals where somebody waves at you and you go, hey, and they're not waving at you. No, the guy behind you. Like literally, Matt walks right by KOC and hugs Aaron Jones. KOC has to walk off. It's hilarious. But yeah, it's cool. You could tell Matt absolutely adores Aaron Jones and likewise too. So like I said, he'll be back soon enough in the Packers Hall of Fame, and I can't wait to see that. And that'd be a fun induction to attend and try to at least get in town for, you know. Yeah. So yeah, Blake B, I can't hate that guy. He's a Packers for life. Amen. Let's go back to the chat from earlier. Randy Cleaver's health is becoming a concern, you know, but here's the thing, Randy, it is for everyone, right? I'm with you. It seems like it's starting to pile up on us a little bit here at the end of the year, but I also feel like, don't you feel like we've been somewhat blessed this year? Do y'all feel like we've stayed somewhat healthy?
Overall, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, right? I mean, we haven't seen anybody, you know, lost for the year. I guess the biggest, you know, injury bug was Marshawn Lloyd, right? I mean, that was the whole up and down.
Musgrave,
yeah, Musgrave. There's another one. You know, we just got him back though, so that's
we got
good.
Quay, but yeah, I mean, honestly.
But I meant like the whole, like, you know, season ending, you just know he's done kind of thing. We've pretty much avoided that for the most part, other than the whole, you know, Jair thing, which you know, hopefully we'll see next couple of weeks if we get him back. But I would agree with Randy. It's becoming a concern. But I think you're right, Clay. I mean, everybody's dealing with injuries. You want to be as close to your version of 100% as you can be this time of year, because everybody's banged up right now. You play 17 football games for crying out loud, you know.
Did we make a switch with the personal trainer or something like that? Or because Omar brings up a good point. He goes, this team's been very lucky with injuries this season as compared to the last 5 for darn sure.
Yep.
And
that was a big talking point. It was this offseason.
I think we talked about it quite a bit, and we're like, something's not going on here. Like, you know. And then I remember, isn't that the same guy that when he got hired, everybody tore their pec, and we're like, oh no.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Went from the hammy to the
It started with Coach LaFleur, right?
Right, it did. Yeah. And then it was Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom.
That's right.
Both popped their pec, both on, they said, the last rep of their bench press.
Jacked up in that gym, man.
Tracy in the chat says Packers are pure trash. We hit that one, didn't we?
We hit that one. Get that crap. Get out of here.
Sit your butt outside.
We're not kicking them out of the chat. We want to be clear. We're just saying where you get the chat off screen. Let's see here. Nick says, I believe in the team regardless. They've been on fire lately. They just had a bad game. And with a bad game on the road against one of the best teams in the league, you lost by 2.
Right.
Pretty wild. Coach Lynn, I still believe in this team if we are fully healthy. Yeah, and it's a big if, right? I don't think we will be fully healthy for the playoffs. We'll get healthier, I think. But you're right, Coach. I mean, it's the youngest team in the league, and when everybody's healthy, you feel like you could go back. You could go toe to toe with anyone. You really could, man. Again, I'm feeling like next year, and that's why I want a true evaluation through, you know, whether it's one playoff game, 2, or we win the whole damn thing. I want a true evaluation of the team going, all right, where are these guys at, especially in big game moments, so we know exactly what we need in the offseason to try to take that next step and put ourselves up there with Detroit, Minnesota, and Kansas City, if indeed we are one notch below them right now. It kind of feels like we are. So
I would agree with that.
I agree there, Coach. J. Cole, I heard there was swelling in Ja's knee. I did not hear that, Jay, but obviously something's going on. You know,
My knee.
the part name. Somebody drew a comparison of the David Bakhtiari situation. And, you know, I hadn't thought about it, but think of how everything transpired with David Bakhtiari and look at how this is happening with Ja. Does this not feel exactly the same? Like, am I thinking too much into this? Remember how David Bakhtiari, it was, he's going to be back any second. He's going to be back any second. And it just never happened.
The only difference is Jair hasn't had 357 surgeries.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say that maybe because of what they saw with Bach, they're like, we're not doing that again to Ja. And maybe they're just now this extending
could be
him resting is like, we don't want to force him. Because I think that if you had to actually get an honest answer from whoever, would it be the doctors, the front office, whatever it was, they're like, we forced him back too early. They must have not. They're taking out like 20 cc's of blood from that dude's knee every other freaking day. They probably knew that, like, I don't know. You know, I'm not a doctor. You know that. All right. Everybody
You look
here
like a
knows.
doctor.
Nice.
I just
But
imagine going in and you got the lab coat buttoned all the way down to the navel, got the chest hat showing. Yeah, all right, let me tell you what's wrong with your life. Here,
take your pants off. I'm not here for that. Just take them off.
Oh gosh.
And the show officially sucks at the 35-minute mark. All right, let's see here. Holmes in the chat. Those of us who know Jacob are here with you guys. That's why what you do is so awesome. Appreciate that, Holmes. Let's see here. Packers for life. Jordan Love, 1 step forward, 2 steps back is what he's saying. Listen, Jordan didn't have a good game yesterday. I personally think he had a bad game. I think he missed some throws, but also you got to take into consideration the game plan, looking at the routes, looking at how we tried to attack this defense. They brung pressure, and we tried to set up passing concepts to take shots. And if there was an underneath, they did a good job of knowing exactly where that was at. With that being said, though, Jordan taking that sack there in the I think it was the second half. I've got it charted. I won't go back through it, but he took a real tough sack there, where it was in the fourth quarter, right outside of the 2-minute warning, if I remember correctly. You can't take that sack, so he's still making mistakes with that, obviously. But it's just crazy going into this game. You guys remember he was sacked at a historically low rate, the lowest rate in NFL history. You could look at that one of two ways. You can say, okay, this is a fluke, or hey, he was due, right? I personally think this is one of those games they'll look back on and go, yeah, that was just a fluke. Jordan is really good at avoiding sacks. And the reason that's important at avoiding sacks is the yardage that you lose, right? And if I remember correctly, on that specific play, when he took that sack, it really kind of put him behind the 8 ball on that drive. It might have been a first down, if I remember correctly. But first down sacks are drive killers. There's no two ways about it. No two ways about it.
So is getting pressured constantly and not going to a screen game and not dealing with, not calling plays to help your offense deal with that pressure. That's kind of what killed us too a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's funny too, in my notes, you'll appreciate this one, Jacob. You and I, we have the humor of a 13-year-old. I put huge sack. And then I put, whoa, and I marked it off and put bad sack. You can see where I erased it and put bad sack. Don't say huge sack on the air. Here we are saying huge sack because this show sucks. Biz 1987. Well said, Jacob. I'm going to be upset and critique, but the fact is we are close to being special. We barely lose to the elite, and we can pinpoint what went wrong. We can fix it. And that's a great point, Biz. Like, there's been sometimes you go, I don't even know where to start, right?
Yep.
On football teams in the past.
Dude,
this one was like, yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
I'm just saying, Packers for life. Your name is literally Packers for life. What do you like? I feel like there's a contradiction.
That's Omer's burner. We all know it.
And I know. And again, I'm not literally calling you. I'm not saying you need to stop. I'm just saying, like, chill out, dude. Like, he's one of the most winningest coaches in the first 5 seasons of the history of the NFL.
But he's not Clark, Jacob.
He's got
one of the
good
best
teams,
records in December. What are you talking about?
Matt LaFleur admitted he choked. Okay, I understand that. But the thing is, as a Packer, if you are a Packer fan for life, in fact, I think you need to take a step back and be like, dude, mistakes happen. Look at the 2010 team. If you were to sit there and critique them the whole time, and then you get to celebrate the Super Bowl, you're not like, what does a fan mean? What does that mean, being a fan? It's not just when they're winning. It's when you make mistakes. It's when you're thick. Like, you got to be there, man.
Yeah. And again, Jacob, it's what we talked about, man. Don't let it do it. Don't let them do it to you. I'm telling you, they're out there by the droves. Omer in the chat, they lost 5 close games to the best teams in football, and people are looking at that like it's a bad thing. I don't understand that stance. The youngest team in the league, and you're going, yeah, but they've lost to the good team.
Yeah, and guess what? We're gonna play those good teams again in the playoffs. And you know what? All you got to do is beat them once. This Packers team could go in and get some wins and go on a tear, just like any other team that's in. We talked about that last night. I think Emilio had a great point. He said, it's really hard to beat a team twice in the NFL, right? And it's happened to us a couple of times, right? We lost to Detroit twice. We lost to Minnesota twice. Well, guess what? Third time's a charm, baby. I feel like we can steal a win in the postseason and ruin their year while increasing the likelihood of us going and bringing Lombardi home. You guys have to believe in the possibility of those things happening. Otherwise, like Jacob saying, what are you fanning for? Try to be excited about your team that's in the playoffs for the second year in a row, with the youngest roster in the league. And yeah, they don't look perfect. They don't look like Belichick's Patriots, right? It doesn't look like I understand this is a work in progress. Hey, why don't you go back to Bill's first couple of years in New England and see how those teams look before the dynasty started happening? You're building a team, not collecting talent. I'm fired up for the fact that we can get hot and possibly go on a run here. All you got to do is beat a team one time. And nobody gives, excuse my language, nobody gives a rat's ass about the regular season the instant the playoffs start. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your record or who you beat or who you didn't beat during the year. Get to the playoffs. It's the real season. It starts. We're in the mix. Let's get fired up and be excited, guys. Don't let another close loss to a tough team ruin your excitement for this young Packers team. That's all I'll say. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox.
Omer in the chat says Cooper is a stud. That man going to be the best player this team drafted in years. I could not agree more, Omer. And I was thinking today when I was breaking down the tape and stuff, I'm looking at these 4 tackles for a loss. I'm like, man, and immediately I went, but you got to curb the enthusiasm, Clayton, because he could take a step back next year. And if he does, that doesn't mean he's a bad player all of a sudden, right? Players do that. They fluctuate, and it's this constant up and to the right, but you're going to have some dips on your way to the up and to the right. Mm-hmm. But man, right now it's like I don't see it. And the way he plays, it doesn't feel like he plays out of control. Like, oh man, he's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like it feels like he is completely under control. You can tell he takes really good care of his body. It's just like he looks like a dude that is going to play in the league for a long time. I have not seen a backer. And listen, I loved A.J. Hawk. I remember being on the old message boards before Twitter, going to bat for A.J. Hawk. People, he's too slow. And I would post a clip of him running down Adrian Peterson from one sideline all the way to the other. Like, oh, he's slow, but he chased down Adrian Peterson. And then seeing him kind of eat blocks in that 34 defense when they would ask him to get up in there and play on the line of scrimmage from time to time. I was a big A.J. stan. Edgerrin Cooper is like no other linebacker we've seen on the Packers. And it's early, I get it. He could end up being garbage from here on out. That's a possibility. You need to know that.
No,
but this dude, I have never seen a Packers linebacker since I've been a fan play like this. And I know there's we got a lot of people that were Packer fans, from some from the Lombardi years, believe it or not. I get emails from people that were fans during the Lombardi years. They were young kids, all the way through, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, the 2010s, and today. I can't think of one since Lombardi's Ray Nitschke. Who's the better inside linebacker that got off to this kind of start since Ray Nitschke?
I don't know any.
And again, it's early. There's going to be people going, Clayton, you're talking about a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and this dude hasn't played a full season. I agree with you. I got to agree with you. But, man, based off what we've seen, it's interesting. It's just I've never seen one in a Packers uniform.
Hey,
and that includes
Packers for life. We can agree on this. Cooper is an absolutely freaking nature. All right.
We don't agree on everything, but we can agree on this.
No, I mean, honestly, that's great news. I'm excited. Everybody needs to understand, like, that dude he's different. He is just different. And it takes, again, a fan base like Green Bay where, linebackers, we've had either great ones back in the 60s. I was not alive back then, so I can't attest to that. But what would you compare as the most even Nick Barnett or like
this one right here was the one I was thinking, and I didn't watch him play.
Johnny Holland. Yeah, I got him back here. I got a signed autograph from him.
Yeah.
And people don't even remember him.
Right. And I had a comment marked and I've already lost it. It said Carrington Valentine with another interception. I think it was Omer said it. Yeah. Listen, man, Carrington is every week, boys. Every week it's like he's up in his game. And again, the blown coverages and stuff yesterday, I seen 2 people get somewhat cooked yesterday. It was Javon Bullard and it was Keyshawn Nixon. And Keyshawn Nixon wasn't like man, he's getting cooked over the top. That one play, hell of a play, getting back, playing the ball. He's so instinctive. He's a football player. Some guys just get it. You can be physical freak and not get it. That dude gets it when it comes to just playing football. He just breaking on the ball and perfect timing, body control, all that stuff. When he got cooked, what I noticed was him playing leverage within his scheme and them just making a good dig call, and he was the closest one there. The pass interference call, it was pass interference, don't get me wrong, but is it no longer a thing that if the ball isn't catchable, it's not pass interference? I guess it's not. I haven't seen that.
I guess it is whenever they feel like it is. It depends on what day it is.
And it was pass interference, don't get me wrong. But I haven't – the reason I asked that, and maybe somebody can help me in the chat, maybe there was a rule change. I haven't seen the officials call that in a long time where they say, the ball was uncatchable. You know what I mean? It used to get mentioned all the time on the mic, and I haven't heard it in a while. So I was curious on that. Carl K in the chat says, study, fix, win. Amen to that, buddy. Amen. You got to learn from it. And with that being said, that's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour two. We appreciate y'all. All right, welcome into hour two. Let's keep this trainer rolling here, man. The chat is lit up. I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your Monday morning. Wish it was a victory Monday, but again, there's some positives to take away. There's a lot of negative too, and we'll try to cover it all. Let's go to social media real quick. You guys keep marking chats, all right? Anything you think is interesting there, we will put it up. Let's just try not to feed the trolls. That's all I ask. Please do not feed the trolls. If you get the same 2 or 3 guys that's just throwing negative comment, let's just don't even acknowledge it. This was interesting to me. We're kind of talking about, Nick McSwain, hit that like button. Appreciate you, buddy. If you guys would take a quick second, hit like, sub to the channel, all that good stuff. If you don't like this, just pretend like you never saw it, all right?
Share it too, guys. Sharing helps a lot more than you think. Let other people know about us.
Don't share it if you don't like it, though, because I know what's coming with that. You know what I mean? It's going to be, hey, guys, make sure you don't check out this show. It's garbage.
Share it.
We do that enough on here. So.
We're going to send this guy after him.
Ooh. All right.
He's on a roll.
This was interesting. Like when just kind of walking around Twitter. Did you guys see Pat McAfee roast the Colts?
Yeah. Yeah. After the Colts fan base tried to roast him.
We do not have time to read the whole comment. I'm not going to read any of it. But if you guys haven't kept up with this, Pat McAfee all year long has been in this rift with the Colts because he caught wind. He and Peyton Manning caught wind that there were people skipping meetings, skipping treatment, this and that. And he's a season ticket holder, right? He's shelling out hundreds of thousands of dollars from what I understand over the last few years to be a season ticket holder with one of those nice boxes. He supports the team. You see him up there banging on the anvil, and he's in Indianapolis. He could go to any other city. He stayed in Indy because of the Colts and all that stuff, right? And I'm not saying Pat's perfect. He can be an ass. We know that. We've seen that firsthand, right? But he put this long, drawn-out thing basically saying, this is what we were talking about. You're not going to win if you don't change the culture within the building. And he's been nominated for the Hall of Fame 3 times, right? He mentioned that in the tweet. Like, it's not like this is some scrub that doesn't know what he's talking about. He's one of the best punter. He won the PFF All-Decade team as the punter, okay? So you guys know who
a punter, he would have still played football because he's a football player.
Right.
He always jokes about that. He decided to be a punter because he didn't want to run.
And you got to see people prepare like Adam Vinatieri, Peyton Manning, right? Reggie Wayne, all those guys, right? Those type of players. Later on, Andrew Luck, who, man, if he hadn't decided to hang it up, probably would have been a Hall of Famer, to be honest with you. He was just absolute stuff. So he's got to see what excellence looks like. And all he was doing all year was drawing this comparison, go, boys, this ain't it. Like, this is, if you guys are skipping meetings and you don't really care about the treatment and this and that, you're not going to go anywhere. So anyway, long drawn out, I just said, you got to see Darius Butler's comment. You guys know Darius Butler played with him in Indianapolis. Darius Butler is one of the smartest DBs to ever play the game. I'm not going to read the thing here, but this is his memoir here, okay? You see how long he went off, right? But look at this. Look at the first comment, and it's Darius Butler. I spit my daddy soda out last night. That ain't even it. That's T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
Again, former teammate, like, boy, I know how this is going to go, right? Where's it at? I know it's in there. Look at Darius Butler.
JJ's in there too. Yeah. Is that,
Oh, CJ.
who's that?
Oh,
CJ? Yeah.
Oh man.
Can't
Yeah.
do that.
And look at JJ Watt, man. I wish it was Wednesday. So make sure you tune in to Overreaction Monday today on the McAfee Show. It's gonna be hilarious. He's gonna talk about getting roasted by the fans, I'm sure, and he's still gonna have a little bit of a rant. But that just cracked me up right there, man. That was hilarious. So
Just a little side note too. I love Pat, obviously. And I was roommates with a good buddy of mine for a while, Josh, and he had I didn't know that Pennsylvania accents were a thing, but after living with my buddy Josh and then now watching Pat, it just brings me. He's got like that is a very unique accent. And if you, I don't know how to do that one. I've never been able to perfect it.
Yeah, the big thing that they do is anytime there's an
Go
AR,
Birds.
anytime there's an AR, they just turn it into an AH, right? Like instead of shout out, right? It's shout out, right?
Yeah.
Shout out, right?
Water is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick them up and put them down. You guys remember that? That video of that Yenzer watching the Pittsburgh game? We need to find that. I think he might have passed away because they did a big tribute to him. Just diehard Steeler fan, and he was telling me need to pick him up and put him down. So anyway, I wanted to show that too because it's like we're overreacting, right? I overreact. Tim overreacts. Jacob damn sure overreacts. We know this, right, Jacob? We can say we know the chat overreacts. We're not the only fan base, right? Pat is up. He's upset.
Gute Kunst.
Yeah, that's exactly how he calls Goody. Gute Kunst. Yeah. And people earlier were going, why is he making fun of Goody's name? He's not making fun of his name.
It's just talking, man. It's just the way he talks.
And him and the boys will over exaggerate it because he knows it gets on people's nerves too. So anyway, let's go to this play real quick. All right. So here's a different angle, right?
Hey,
And
can I
again-
just say something before we get into this?
Yeah, go right ahead, buddy.
So I'm absolutely done with this crap because every single time we do ref watch and we get excited about the crew goes out and does the opposite of what the metrics show every single time.
So we're going to blame Robert.
We thought Carl Jeffers and his crew was going to keep the flags in the pocket, not call ticky-tack stuff, not miss important calls. And what happened? This happened.
And I don't want to sound like one of those fans, but they need to stick a step. When I was on my little hiatus there, I wasn't watching a lot of NFL because it was, in my opinion, unwatchable. The flags were just, you get so invested in a game and you watch somebody blow a call so bad that they can post it on social media and people basically consistently agree. It's like, figure it out. We got to figure out a way to review penalties as well because it doesn't, I don't think it's going to make the game that much longer. It just won't. And honestly, if it makes it 10 minutes longer, throw another ad in there, pay for it. Who the hell cares? I want to get this game right. There's too much on in the line.
How many times have you watched an NFL game, a Packers game, and been like, God, this game's taking forever? I don't do that. I don't find myself doing that. Baseball, I put baseball on. You guys know I love baseball was the first love of my life, man. I sit down and watch a ball game. I make it to the second inning. I wake up and it's the seventh going, what the hell happened? What happened?
Nothing happened.
Exactly. Football, I never find myself going, this game's taking too long. Get the call right. So we don't have to. I would much rather be sitting here going, man, we just lost because we were the worst team. But you look at something like this and you're going, damn it, every week there's something where you're like,
cue the conspiracy music. I'm telling you, I think the league loves that we have these conversations and thinks that they're actually trying to get it right. I don't think them getting it right is even in the equation. I truly believe that. I hate to get all conspiracy on you, but I feel like these officials are being used to influence outcomes of ball games. There, I said it. Drag me over the coals if you want, but
I agree.
What it looks like, man.
Joe Nuts
looks like pro wrestling out there sometimes. I tell you,
Joe Nuts. If the name isn't enough, look at the profile pic. What is this? Is that a fish? Anyway, he says they really called it because Edgerrin Cooper moved his finger. And what's crazy is
Just the tip, though.
Tim, if you were to look at this, I can't get my cursor to show up without clicking on the tweet. Let's see. All right. Which one do you think's offsides? For me, it would be him, if anyone, right? No, that's Enig Barre. This is Cooper.
He
So-
does creep up at the last. If you watch it live, he creeps just slight, but he goes up like an inch.
Man, if you
But
don't
hey,
circle 76 on the Vikings and
I was
show,
gonna- look at
show
the
everyone
right
who's
guard.
really offsides here.
what is the
Come
right
on
guard doing?
Coach Lynn said, "Wait, pro wrestling isn't real."
Yes, it
Oh
is.
man, I
Coach.
just ruined Coach's life. Oh
Here's
no.
the thing that gets me, and we kind of talked about it yesterday. Is look at the guard. The guard's whole helmet is offside.
It's not even close.
So did these officials mean to throw the flag, make the call, and then they said instead of saying 76, they said 56 on accident, and these idiots called the penalty on the wrong team?
Dude,
Because
that's
We don't
not a
have a
bad
76 on the field. We only had a 56.
Now, Tim,
I
if
mean-
they did that, they would have recognized it and corrected it, right? No,
Yeah,
they
you would
refused to
assume.
do that. How many times have we seen a challenge go, "Yeah, that's getting overturned"? They go, it stands just like, what? Are we watching the same thing? Packers for Life said, so they caught a flag on the play, so we hit that one. There was one I marked just now. Where did it go? That I imagine I marked it. I thought about faking. You guys remember on Waterboy, the coach? He pretended to
faked.
fake.
Thought about faking.
He
I
thought he
pretend to
thinks
fake.
Anyway, there's something I was going to hit on there. I can't remember what it was. Hell, it don't. But again, this play here. Oh, it was about the dead ball foul, right? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Packers for Life. So they caught a flag on this play. Was it a dead ball or a live ball foul? So here's the deal: the guard being offsides, right? It would have been a re-kick anyway if they'd thrown the flag on him, which is cool. But guess what? If he's offsides and Edgerrin Cooper is offsides, then you just replay the down. Instead, it was they missed the kick, they called it on Edgerrin Cooper,
Gave him
and
5.
now they get 5 yards. And as
God.
we've seen, their kicker kept falling short on some of these
Yeah.
longer kicks.
Convenient.
So 5 yards, he comes out, he hits the kick. There's
I do like the fact that Matt used the timeout there because we actually
Yes.
had timeout. We actually had timeouts, which was a refreshing
that's
change.
nice, right?
But I thought that was the best timeout I've seen him call in a while. Oh yeah, okay, it's BS penalty. They're moving them up, line them up. Timeout. I love it. Make the kid think. You're right. We saw him doink too, and I gotta believe if they would have got that right, I don't think they get those 3. I really don't. He was struggling outside of 45, 50 yards
Yeah, he was
in a dome. So
in a dome.
yep.
Oh,
Yeah, so again, man, there's multiple things that resulted in the outcome of this game. I got you. But this is just this is the most textbook thing that you should be able to get right. I personally don't think there's a single Packer that's offsides here. I don't. Their guard, his helmet is offsides. There's
it's
no doubt.
clearly
about it.
offside. Like
Listen, and I want people to understand me clearly here. If they don't throw the flag on Minnesota, I'm okay with it. I don't feel like his helmet being over the line is giving us a crazy disadvantage.
right.
But if you're going to split hairs, split the damn hairs.
Then call an offsetting penalty or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, don't.
and if you don't throw this flag and they hit that field goal, I'm not sitting here going, but they had a guy offsides. I would not be doing that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're going, call it on their people, don't call it on the other. Dude, there was several fans from other fan bases hitting me up going, boy, you guys are getting robbed. I didn't feel like it was that bad. When he said it, I went, yeah, we are getting robbed, right? But honestly, in real time, I didn't feel like that other than this call right here. This was the one where I was just like, could you screw up a more crucial call in this?
And there's literally a line judge staring right
That's
down
his
that line.
job.
That's
It's
literally
called-
your job, man.
That's-
You
it's
had
all-
one job, man.
I'll highlight what Darren says right here, Darren Johns, and we'll go back to talking Packers because he said I went from watching as many games as I could, Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays, I'm sure now Saturdays, and no matter what teams are playing, only to watch the Pack now because calling it a day because the officials are hot. And that's exactly how I
It's
felt.
not
this year.
just the Packers games. We're not saying the Packers.
No. I'm saying around the NFL,
This is
it
a
has been
league-wide
brutally
problem.
bad.
It's true. It's so true. John in the chat, you think the Packers should throw more in the first quarter? And John, this isn't a shot at you, man. I'm just going to answer it honestly the way I feel. That's a very vague statement, right? There's a lot of factors that go in. If you're saying, yeah, let's just go out and throw more in the first quarter, that I do not subscribe to that, right? It
I think
comes
he's
down
asking if we should, he's
Yeah.
not saying we should. I think he's asking, but yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's a vague, you don't just go, yep, we need to throw more in the first quarter. right? It comes down to the game plan that you're installing. What's the other team doing? What do they do on first downs? What are their first down looks? How do they attack certain, formations, right, with personnel? And it may make sense. Hey, look, it just so happens in the first quarter, we're going to come out and try to attack them with the passing game, given how they face up against 12 personnel or 11 personnel, whatever it may be, right? That's how you make those decisions. So if you were to say, would I rather the Packers throw more in the first quarter? You've got to choose one or the other. I would rather them prove they can stop the run as opposed to us come out and pass. That's me personally. And the thing that bothered me, and it's in Chalk Talk, it's going to be another 3-play sequence, which we've had a bunch of those this year. It's kind of cool. That 3-play sequence, you guys remember me texting you during the game? I usually try not to text much during the game, but you were averaging 5 yards a carry with Josh Jacobs early, right? In that first drive, you go down the field and you're taking chunks. Obviously, you got the fumble, you lose the ball. The very next drive, first down, incomplete pass. Second down, incomplete pass. Third down, incomplete pass, you punt. And from that point forward, your offense struggled the rest of the day. I hate that. Why in the hell you would not come out there and run the ball is beyond me. But again, the answer is, I guarantee you, and this is why I answered your question, John, the way that you kind of structured it there, was Matt LaFleur seen something to go, hey, we need to attack with the passing game here. It didn't work. I personally would rather I can stomach, hey, look, man, they shut us down. We tried to establish the run and we just couldn't get it going. I can handle that. What I can't handle are these self-inflicted, hey, let's come out and wing it around the yard. And next thing you know, we're down by however many points. What's crazy is even with that, we ended the first quarter leading 3-0, right? So it's not like that was the reason we lost. It's just that's frustrating to me as a fan. So
wasn't there a down or a situation where I swear we were on like maybe just got into Minnesota territory and it was like 3rd and 4 and we just housed one. We just threw a long bomb and I was like, why are we like, that's the only, I don't want to criticize the play calling too much because like you said, it happens with the situation. It's easy to take a step back and be like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. You should have done this. It's like, you have no idea what it's like with 30 seconds on the play clock. You got somebody yelling in your ear. There's 70,000 fans screaming. It's easy to get like lost as to how difficult it is to make a situational. I mean, that's why we have like screw ups. You know what I mean? It's why people have absolutely, when they quote unquote poop the bed, don't slap me on the butt, I'll poop in your hand kind of thing. Like it's just, it happens, man. It happens.
I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop my hand. So
thank you.
I appreciate you, John. Hopefully that answered your question. If it was a question, or again, that's just I'm a boring fan. I'm taking the 3 points every single time that we know, hey, look, there's more than a 90% chance of us hitting this field goal. I'm taking the 3 points. And on top of that, run the ball until they prove they can stop you. Right. So Jared Reyes in the chat says Jacob is referring to the deep shot to Melton on 3rd and 5 into double coverage. And again, that particular play, that doesn't mean it's a bad play call. Yeah. That's a bad decision by Love anytime you throw in a double coverage. I'm sorry. Right. Yeah. So, and Ryan talks about that a lot on Packernet podcast, is like, just because the play doesn't work doesn't mean it's a bad play call. Right. And it's so true.
Oh, true.
It could be the quarterback misread it. It could have been that the running back missed the cut. It could have been that 2 offensive linemen missed the block in the running game. There's a lot of factors, right? That goes back to that whole casual fan thing of just, it didn't work. I'm going to say it's a bad play call. But to Jacob's point, 3rd and 5, I have a hard time believing. Let me just put it this way, Jacob. I have a hard time believing LaFleur said, all right, guys, 3rd and 5. Jordan, hell or high water. I don't care if it's still throw it. I know you're not saying that too.
Nah, yeah.
Drew D in the chat says that was a very ugly fumble by Jacobs, though. The ball didn't even get hit by the defender. It makes me think Jacobs is playing through an injury. I thought the defender, as he came around, top of his hand
hit the ball. That ball got punched out.
I'm pretty sure it got hit. I could be wrong. I have to go back and watch it close. And it's hard to tell that stuff with the all-22, But that's the only bad thing about it. Sometimes with the telecast, they do a good job in those moments of, you could see, all right, 2 fingers slap the ball. It's pretty wild how the camera work is. But let's see here. Drew D says, today definitely showed us what Watson offers the team. We couldn't stretch the field without him. I think that's a very fair assessment there. You guys agree with that? It's amazing, too. And Drew is not one of these people. And I won't mention the names, but 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, it was Watson's overrated. And then the second Watson's out, it's those same fans are saying, well, Watson being out's the reason we lost this game. It's like,
Yep.
well, okay,
Exactly.
what change?
Yeah.
Again, that's not Drew. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that you agree with that? What Drew's saying
I
here?
think he's right. I think we should appreciate what we have in Christian Watson while we have him here. And I'll be the first to admit, I was we talked about in the post game. I felt like, you had asked who did we miss more, Quay or Scoot in this game, and I felt, obviously I felt Quay, but I look at it. I was very confident in Bo Melton going into this game. I had that next man up mentality. We still got some speed demons out there in that receiver room. But to Drew's point, it didn't work, and you got to think a guy like Christian Watson out there, as dynamic as he is, he puts a lot more pressure on guys like Harrison Smith in that secondary. And when you got a good defense that's like that, you need a field stretcher like Christian Watson. So if anyone didn't appreciate him before, after watching this game, they should appreciate him now, because you got to think, number one, even on a, like a 9 route like that, you got a safety coming over, double coverage. Scoot's probably torching one of those guys. By the time that ball gets there, it's probably 1-on-1, and you give yourself a chance to make a play. It was really tough for Bo to stretch the field as fast as he is. That proved to be difficult. So I agree wholeheartedly with what Drew's saying here. I mean, it was really tough on our offense last night. That's why I think Jordan struggled so much. You're looking and just nobody's there. Nobody's there. Nobody's open. Where do you go with the football?
Go ahead, Jay. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I'll go even farther than what Tim said. I'll guarantee you that if Watson goes somewhere else, he's going to be a star in this league. I'll guarantee it. Like he has shown too much, and everybody, again, the casual ESPN fans, going to say, well, he gets hurt. We talked about that extensively in the offseason. The guy went to an absolute specialist where he had like one of his legs was like 20% bigger than the other, or you know what I'm saying? Like they figured it out. That's not the issue this year. They're going forward. The guy has a father that's been in the league. I know people will scoff at that. That actually does help. Imagine if your father, who's like probably the most influential person in your life, has actually played the profession that you're playing in, tells you how to handle it, tells you how to handle the press, the money, the fame, let alone all the freaking intricacies it takes to be a wide receiver in this league. He goes and does it. He shows it. If Christian Watson, I'll go back to this, and I hate that I have to say this. If Christian Watson makes that first catch of his NFL career on the first play to the Vikings long bomb, nobody's talking the same way about the way that he is right now. Does that make sense to y'all? Like they put in certain players' fans, he got a bad taste in their mouth right away, and they'll never change that narrative. Some people get stuck in their own little rut, and they're not going to leave it. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to grow. Christian Watson is going to be an absolute phenom in this league. I know it's going to happen. Whether or not the Packers decide to sign him or not, it's just I think we should,
His receiving it's tough.
And again, you overpay for good, you don't overpay for, or you overpay for great, you don't overpay for good.
Right.
I think Watson is a good receiver. I don't think he's great yet. I think he can be great. I think he's got the physical makeup to be one of the best in the league. But right now, I would consider him good, not great, which means I will pay a little under market value for what he is. And that means his statistics, his playing time, all those things. We talk about the comps that like Spot Track and these websites use. I'm not interested in paying Christian Watson $30 million a year. Not interested in that. I don't think anybody here is. But decent money, yes. And that's why I was saying I've seen enough with Watson and Dobbs. Go to them early. See if you can get a deal by negotiating early. That would be breaking crazy precedent with the Packers. They have never done that, right? So you can't expect that for sure. But Drew D, thank you, buddy. I agree there, man, about Watson completely, no doubt. Let's see here. Holmes MD1, run the ball, don't turn it over, take points, get off the field on defense. It's that simple. It is. Now, again, there's some situations, like I said, that they're going to stop the run and they're going to shut us down. And they're going to force us into passing. I'm okay with that. I get that. But let's get to that. Let's just try to get to that point where we go, all right, guys, the running game ain't working. It just seems like we never truly get to that point, Omer says, yes, Tim, right. The ball was punched out. Cheesehead Murph, good to see, buddy. Says definitely got hit out. So
what up, Murph?
That's what I seen too. It really was. I felt like it did get punched out. Here is the other angle I want to show you guys, and we'll move on from this. And when you put tweets like this out, you go, you're either going to get roasted or people are going to agree with you, and you got to be prepared for both. It seems like the large majority of people agreed That's like, hey, this wasn't. And here's former NFL quarterback.
That Kurt.
Obviously, Kurt said fraudulent was the word. I said, can somebody explain this to me like I'm 5? And he put fraudulent. So you see, look at the guard's helmet, boys.
That's unreal. That's unreal.
And somebody in the comments originally, they said, no, he's got to be he's the center. He's got to be the front. No, that's not your center. I thought I said a bad word. Dingus, that's not the center. That's the guard. Full helmet offsides. And the ball has not been snapped yet. And obviously, you see how far back Adrian Cooper is. And like Jacob said, he does creep up a little bit before the ball snapped. This was the closest frame I could get on my phone of when the ball was snapped. So that's the last time we're going to talk about it. We'll move on from it. It ain't the last time we're going to talk about it.
I was going to say, I'll talk about that 100 times more.
We're going to try to move on from it anyway. The other thing I wanted to hit on real quick, let's go to the chat, and then we'll go to Week 18 real quick. Andy Watkins in the chat. On a positive note, Malik Heath. Jacob, didn't you call that? You called
I did.
that?
I
Now,
did.
listen, I'm going to let you run a half victory lap. All right. It was 1 catch for 3 yards. But boy, it was a big touchdown, wasn't
He
Good
played
one, though.
like 4 snaps, didn't he?
it? Right. Yeah. Yep.
4
and-
important snaps. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It just seems like-
blocking dudes into the water cooler and catching a tutter, and then all right, just another day. See you next
Bro.
week.
Has there ever been a time that you've seen Malik Heath and you go, man, I don't trust his hands? He's got strong hands.
Yeah, dude.
I
He's a
love that.
physical receiver, real physical guy.
Love that we're going to have
That's
him
the
back.
dude you want on the field when you see your guys getting pushed around a little bit and guys aren't blocking well. I'm calling up 18, put him out there, have him smack somebody right in their face and fire up the team. That's what he is. He's a spark plug on this offense.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says, wanted to see more 12 personnel. I haven't got it charted yet or anything in that regard, Coach. I may not. That's a good point. It did feel like we were in 11 all night long. Like you didn't see a whole lot of 12, right? So I think that's probably accurate. And then Coach Lynn, Bo is fast, but he's not 6'4". That's the thing, right? About Christian Watson, no doubt. So, All right, let's go to, before we go to Week 18, let's go to the PFF recap real quick. We got about 9 minutes. We'll probably hit the Week 18 stuff tonight, if that's all right with you guys. But I wanted to hit this recap, and it'll show us the snaps and all that stuff, because in the fog of war, like you really don't realize exactly how the game went. We won't read the entire article. You guys go check it out on pff.com with the recap. The highest graded players, though, defensive lineman Devontae White at an 88.9. Now, keep in mind, these are preliminary grades, all right? The grades are not finished yet, so this could fluctuate a little bit. But early on, Devontae White, 88.9. That's
Man,
wild.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, what was the injury there, Tim?
I think it was concussion also. I think, but don't quote me on that. That's pure speculation. But
Okay.
Here we go again, man. Guys getting hot, doing what we need him to do. He's grading
like
out,
Quay,
right?
right?
He's playing it. Yep, just like Quay. And then injuries. And it just shows you, man, that's how this league is. At any moment, it can happen to anyone. And it's tough. Yeah, Drew D. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking correct. All right, it is a concussion. You never want to hear that. You never want to hear it. Unfortunately, it's part of the game at this point. And everybody's different, right? We saw Rome miss, a handful of games because of a concussion. And then you'll see guys that clear a protocol and they come back the following week. We saw that with Quay earlier this year. So, we'll see how it goes, but it's always tough to see that. Devontae White has been playing such good ball lately, and I hope he doesn't miss too much time, honestly.
Yeah, and listen, Wayne and or Wyatt and Zane with the concussions, I don't think there's any chance they see the field next week, personally.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I think you just, hey, let's let that ride, get them completely out of concussion protocol and be good to go. Omer in the chat, I don't agree completely with Omer. He said Packers should rest all their starters and prepare for the Eagles. Wash winning next week. We're going to be the 7th seed. Don't need anyone injured in a meaningless game.
One could say that preparing for the Eagles would mean playing some guys.
The Bears, right? Yeah. And that's where I disagree with you, Omer. I understand. I think I agree on the surface there. Like, hey, look, if anybody's banged up, if anybody's less than 100%, don't put them out there. Let them get rested up for the playoffs. I'm okay with the 7 seed. I'd rather have a healthier roster. But as far as sitting all the starters, I definitely disagree.
I'd put them all in, go up early, put the 3, 4, 5 score lead on the Bears, and then start pulling guys off the field, right?
Yeah,
and at least let them play.
And here's the thing: if we lose to the Bears next week, it's not the end of the world. I can see a scenario where that happens.
Whoa. Come on. Man.
This is where
Easy
Jacob's
now.
positivity ends. Listen, man, any given Sunday, anything can happen. The thing that we do have on our side, though, sometimes you go into that final week and a team has an opportunity to play the spoiler, right? To play the spoiler, and they can kind of knock you out of the playoffs. That's not the case here at all, right? So if I'm the Bears organization and I have people banged up, this is just me personally, I'm going, boys, we care too much about you to put you on the field. All right. And let's try to get a little bit better draft pick. It's probably what's going to happen.
Honestly, yeah. I mean,
I see that happening. I really do. I don't like that attitude, but that's probably what will happen on Chicago's side too. So there'll be a little bit of that on both sides for sure. But Omer, again, I understand what you're saying there. I don't agree completely, but if the guys that are banged up, absolutely, man, do not let them see the field.
Do you think it's a similar argument as to like guys need to play in the preseason as to like towards the end of it? Once you've locked in a playoff victory, I feel like there's that same, like, I don't want rust on our guys. I don't want them sitting out. And I know that it might benefit certain players because of health stuff, help them, heal up, that kind of thing. But I also want them to play sharp. So I don't know how you split that hair, but.
No, I'm completely on board with that because that rust is a real thing. I mean, how many times have we seen it? It happens all the time in the league. Coach Lynn in the chat. That's the other thing about Philly. Everybody's talking about Philly. Boy, they're hot. They're hot. They're hot. Yeah, they are. They're a well-rounded team, no doubt about it. Nick Sirianni, one of the most underappreciated coaches in the league right now. But you've had Jalen Hurts, who's missed time with the concussion. He's going to be a little rusty too. There's a chance for that. There really is. Coach Lynn in the chat said 2 weeks we should get everyone back, including Ja. I hope so, Coach. And again, this is what I was talking about. This feels like Bakhtiari. Like, how many times have we said, oh, he'll definitely be ready for that. He'll definitely be good for that. And then you look up and he wasn't ready, right? The knee was mangled. So I hope you're right, Coach. I think that's a fair assessment. Baby 100. Yeah, Baby 100. I love it. Let Jacobs get 31 more rushing yards to be the 5th all-time in Packers history. All right. Okay. Let him get 31 yards and pull him out of the game. Is that what he's saying there?
I hope.
When he says 5th all-time in Packers history, are we talking about in one season? In a season?
Probably. Yeah.
I was going to say, damn, he already got that many rushing yards in 1 year.
He's been here 45 minutes. How did he climb that high up the list?
Right. All right, so we got that hit. Yeah, again, I wanted to hit on those. Let's look at the snap count real quick, and then we'll get out of here, guys. This is a fun show, man. The chat has been unbelievable. We appreciate y'all more than you know. Let's see here. It's going down. Bang, bang, bang. Packers offensive play snaps. So this will tell us how often we were in 12 personnel. Yeah, look at this. Tucker Kraft, 53 snaps. Luke Musgrave, 12. Ben Sims, 3. John Fitzpatrick, 2. So there's a chance that Musgrave was on the field when Kraft wasn't. But let's just assume that these snaps here total will equal how many times we were in 12 personnel. That'd be 12 plus 3 is 5. So that's 17 snaps in 12 personnel. It's probably less than that. But out of a total of 62, yeah, me no likey that, Jan. I don't like that ratio. I'd like to see a little more 12. And you guys know I love 11 personnel. I love 11. But probably should have been 12 a little bit more like Coach Lynn was saying. So anything you guys want to hit on there with the snap count in terms of that?
Malik, definitely more than 4. 15 snaps to Dowd.
Yeah, with Christian being out, you know, pressing that a little bit more. It looked like him and Bo kind of split the load there, 16 and 15, right?
Yep.
And Romeo Doubs led the way with 53 snaps. Dontavion Wicks with 46. Jaden Reed with 44. So they are not giving up on Wicks, boys, and I'm glad they're not. I think he's still going to be a good receiver in this league.
Me too. I thought he had a really good game. I thought he played really well.
And there's a really good chance that you're going to lose one of either Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson in free agency, right? There's a decent chance that you're only going to be able to sign one. You're going to need Wicks to be prepared to step into that void.
Dude, are we ready to make it? That's a Sophie's choice for me, man. I can't figure it out.
I keep going back and forth. There's been multiple times we've had that conversation. If you're referring to Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs,
yes, sir. Yep.
And there's been times I've been Dobbs. There's times I've been Christian. And again, what it comes down to is what do those players do specifically on the offense? What position do they play? Romeo Doubs plays boundary X. When Romeo missed with the suspension and the concussion, they really liked putting Dontavion Wicks in the X. So with the writing on the wall, that would suggest to me they would keep Christian because no other receiver on this team is 6'4" that has that combination in speed, right? So to me, it would be keep Watson, let Romeo walk, and put Dontavion Wicks in the boundary X because of his route running ability. And, of course, Jaden Reed's your slot receiver. And then you got Bo Melton as that backup speed guy. You got Malik Heath as that backup hands guy, that physical receiver.
Malik would probably be the guy that if we lose Rome, you probably see Malik step into that kind of possession receiver, hands receiver kind of role, right?
In a backup sense, I
In a
think
backup,
so.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I think so. So you got kind of a bully there, right,
Yep.
at that backup boundary X. Now, here's the thing, too, with the boundary X. If you look at Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, how many boxes do each of them check, right? Hands. Who's got the best hands, Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson? I think Romeo
I think
Doubs.
Dobbs
At
does,
this point,
yeah.
but Scoots has gotten a lot better with his.
I
catching.
swear though, if you look at the drops, I think that would honestly make us look stupid because I think
Yeah,
Christian
Christian
has like 3 drops in the last 2 years.
So let's call the hands a push. I know many Romeo Doubs fans are going to be mad about that, and I understand because he's got amazing hands. But let's say that aspect's a push, right? Route running. I would give the route running to Dobbs.
I was just going to say,
I
you
would
might have to
too.
lean with Rome there.
Now, speed. Christian
Christian.
Watson.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Height and leaping ability, right?
Scoots.
Christian Watson.
Yep.
Right.
But still, what about contested catches? I still go Dobbs.
No, yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I think it's
But again,
probably
Scoot has gotten better at those.
And he's better at those as
Yeah.
well. Absolutely. Yeah.
so you got one receiver ascending. The other dude has been good for over a year now, I think, at both, right? Now, here's probably the tiebreaker. Matt LaFleur, what's he say? No block, no block, no rock, right?
Yeah, Scoot's taking
Who's
that
the
one.
better blocker?
Scoot.
Christian Watson. That's why I'm leaning toward Christian. I hope they keep both of them somehow, some way. That's why you got to go early, but they're not going to do that. It's probably going to be Christian Watson. So your boundary X will be Dontavion Wicks stepping into that role, right? And again, we're talking 2 years down the road, guys. They're under contract next year. So
Right.
this is caviar problem. What's that old saying they used to say? Caviar problems.
First
I
world
don't know what I'm
problems.
talking about. This show sucks. Let's get out of here. You want to? What just happened here? I just had a mini seizure on the.
We
on
got the
live.
whole off season to talk about all that crap, right?
Exactly. All right, so go ahead, Jake.
Someone in the chat was asking how many snaps
Champagne
did
problems. There.
Coop got. Champagne problems. Yeah. It's like Jay-Z says, 99 problems, but actually he's got a few.
Ooh, looky here, boys. Adrian Cooper, 71 snaps, Tim.
Let's go.
Now, Eric Wilson, 72. All right. So what's your problem, Jacob?
Just the chat.
Just the chat. I'm ignoring it. Looking at the snaps here. Let's go. How about Edrin Cooper? 71 snaps. I love it.
Again, we were in nickel all day long, right? So we were probably in nickel when they were in base or when they were in their 12 or 21, whatever they run for base. The reason I say that's because they're a pass-happy team. We talked about it. They threw the ball like 58% of the time, right? So you probably, in many occasions, even though they were in their kind of their base sets, you were probably choosing to let's lean on our nickel, right? Because they're probably going to throw out of it anyway. But nonetheless, Eric Wilson, 72, Edrin Cooper, 71. Javon Bullard, 68 snaps at safety is what it's saying. Keyshawn Nixon, 72 snaps at corner. Carrington Ballantyne, 72, boys. So Eric Stokes, 34. They finally turned the page with Carrington Ballantyne, it looks like.
And I thought, he played about as good as you can play against Justin Jefferson, man. I
agree.
I thought he had a really good game. Can't wait to see see how he graded out.
Yeah.
Are you surprised at the snap counts for Gary, for Cox, and then Vanessa? Does that show that? I mean, like you guys know, I'm a Brenton Cox fanboy for the rest of my life. I will always be. I'm very surprised he had more snaps than Lucas Vanessa. I mean, we have an undrafted free agent versus.
Oh, no, this is how it was last week, Jacob.
Yeah.
Okay. Snaps, yeah. They're really giving him every opportunity to.
And I think he got a sack, didn't he?
No, it was just Carl Brooks that had the sack, I believe.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Let me double check. I could be wrong. I think there was only one sack, and I think it was just Carl Brooks' sack.
Gotcha.
So, but there was
Barre seems to be the favorite over there lately.
Right.
He seems to be getting the most action.
And am I the only one that disagrees with that? Like,
No, you're not. You're not. I'm on point with that too, and I think Enigbare is a great player, but I don't see him outsnapping Rashawn and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so that kind of makes me think that something happened to Gary. Maybe he got a little banged up at some point, might have broke a shoelace, something like that, had to come out of the game. I don't think that was by design. Hey, I don't think they went in the week going, let's get Kingsley more snaps than Gary, right?
Yeah.
Because Gary's been playing really solid here lately. TJ Slayton with 29. Now, all these numbers are inflated because they had the ball a lot, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that whole it's pretty evident to me.
What about Devontae with only 12? That kind of makes me a little bit.
Well, he got hurt, right?
Got hurt.
Oh, Wyatt did get hurt?
Yeah, he got a concussion. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
we're talking about earlier. So Carrington is officially your number 2 corner, I believe. Well, number 3 corner, I should say, right? Because Keyshawn Nixon. Yeah, that's the big takeaway for me is that. And there was one more too. Edgerrin Cooper from here on out. He may not wear the green dot, but that dude, if they can get him on the field, he's going to be on the field rightfully so. And again, as we talked about earlier, what was his grade early on? Yeah, 80.5. Man, he's probably gonna jump up a little bit further. He'll probably be like the 7th or the 6th highest graded linebacker in the league now this week.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's go.
Should be, man.
Should.
And that's the thing too. Remember, we were talking about Evan Williams early in the year, right?
Yeah.
And here he's been banged up. Like, and don't get me wrong, his play has tapered off, which is understandable, right? As a rookie, hopefully he gets back to that form that he had there in the first 3 or 4 starts. But Edgerrin Cooper though, he's a dog, man. We got us one there. That's awesome. So, all right, Nick says any word on Evan Williams? I haven't heard anything. To me, that's probably the one that worries me the most for the playoffs because
quad injury, right?
It was quadricep. I think it happened in practice, and just the way everybody acted about it, it wasn't like he's just day to day. To me, it seemed like LaFleur was a little standoffish. I could be wrong. I could have misread that, but hopefully he's going to be okay for sure though. So, there you go. Once again, Justin Jefferson's the player of the game according to PFF. Of course, without Jair, the Jair talk's going to continue to get loud, man. It's tough, dude. It's tough. Tough break all the way around for the fans, for the team, for Jair. Now, never mind. I ain't gonna hit on it. Somebody made
things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
Somebody made a comment on it, and trying to think of how I could say this. They seem to think that Jair is not going to be back next year. All right, but I will say this:
based on their feelings, or
I think it might have been based on some alcohol, but we'll just leave it there. All right, we'll leave it there. So do what you want with that. All right, we're going to get out of here. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This was fun. We'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. Central. I'm going to try to get Chalk Talk ready for tomorrow. Of course, Mike Witt can get me divorced.
I was going to say.
Mike Witt with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, hey, guys, is it me or has X been very quiet since the bye week? I think we are still a year away. Hopefully I'm wrong. Yeah, the thing with X and the reason he got quiet is teams stopped testing him, right? Yep. Yeah. And you're going to see the replay from yesterday where the ball's flying over X's head, and it's like, oh, did he blow a coverage? Based off everything I've seen, it looked like Javon Bullard was supposed to match the 2 on that side, so that wasn't actually X. That was just
like KLC was scheming around that, right?
Exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
So when you say quiet, Mike, I think many, and maybe you meant it this way, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree if you did. Many people would take that as he's playing bad. I don't think he's playing bad. I think that teams are going, do not throw the ball near that guy anymore. He's a ball.
And when you start the year as hot as McKinney started this season, it's really tough to just stay on that kind of trajectory all year. You're going to go up and down, and then you start the year with 6 or 7 picks. It's on tape. Teams don't want to throw at you. They're going to scheme around it.
That's what Drew said here in the chat too, as well. Drew, to your point, Tim, he says also there's no way McKinney could keep up what he was doing.
That's
early
such
on.
a true point.
I mean, like he was getting like a pick and a half a game to start. Like it was insane.
Yeah, and again, Mike Witt, thank you for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you. And Biz says, Bullard or X, who you throwing to? LOL. There you go. I'm throwing a Bullard all day long. So, all right, good deal, man. Again, Mike, thank you, buddy. Didn't mean to rush through that, but thank you for the super chat. We got to get out of here. We're over on time. We will see y'all tonight, 7 p.m. Central. As Holmes says, the show and the chat sucks. Have a good day, PTA. I appreciate it. It does suck. Thanks, everybody. Listen, tough loss, right? Talked about last night. But damn, I love our listeners. I love what we've created here with the chat. Like we have some people come through that show their rear end, right? I got you. But for the most part, we have some of the most a good chunk of the reasonable, section of the fan base that come in here and actually want to talk about ball and want to talk what actually happened and not overreact emotionally. It's just awesome. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Jacob, Tim, thank you guys too. Appreciate you. All right, we're out. We'll see y'all tonight, 7 p.m. Central. We'll do a full PFF recap. We'll have all the grades, see who shined, who didn't, and then we'll get Chalk Talk ready for you, hopefully on Tuesday. Just depends on with the holiday. We may get shuffled around a little bit. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.
There we go. We out.
Bye, guys.